Hello, everyone. Hello, Gillian.
Hello.
Hello, Santeri. Hello, Pasi.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Good to be here.
Oh, we've got lots of people coming in. Come up to the front, everybody.
Don't be shy.
And hello to everybody at home as well that'll be watching later. So hello to all of you as well. So I'm Donatella Fitzgerald and I'm in Rome today. Gillian, where are you?
I'm in London. So I'm Gillian Greenan. So I'm a product manager here at Pearson. I'm in London. We've got lots of people joining. Why don't just while everybody's joining, why don't you just pop in the chat where you're joining from so we can see where everybody is. That would be great. And in the meantime, should we introduce our guests?
Absolutely.
So we're very, very excited today to have Pasi and Santeri from Seppo, who are going to take us through gamification and making the most of it with young learners in the language classroom today. So we've got Dr. Pasi Loman, who's a Finnish gamification expert with over 10 years of experience as an English teacher. He holds PhD in classics from the University of Nottingham in the UK and has studied gamification at, forgive my pronunciation, Fundação Getúlio Vargas in Brazil and Universidade Anhembi Morumbi in Sao Paulo.
Very good.
And he's the director of Seppo in Brazil, and his online gamification workshops and webinars have been watched by thousands of people. So hello, Pasi, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, thank you for this opportunity. It's always a pleasure to work in project with Pearson, and it's so nice to see that there are people from so many different countries putting their comments in the chat. So welcome everyone. We're going to have a fun time playing a game today.
Great, and we've also got Santeri Jaakkola. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, perfectly.
So Santeri is the head trainer and game producer with Seppo based in Finland. He's a longtime gaming and game culture enthusiast with 30 years experience. He's got a love for games combined with a background in pedagogy and communication studies, which brought him to Seppo about 5 years ago. And Santeri consults on gamification for education and corporate settings from the Seppo headquarters in Finland. So welcome, Santeri.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here. It's always nice to be talking to a lot of people who are interested about gamification and what games can bring, what they can elevate in our students. And I hope that you will like the twist that we are going to have here today. Maybe you will find something interesting, something new. Maybe there will be a few light bulb moments for everyone.
Fantastic. So we've got people from all over the place. We've got Lebanon, I see in the chat.
Turkey,
Brazil, Netherlands, Poland. It's fantastic. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Please do make use of the chat if you've got questions along the way. We'll be keeping an eye on it. And with that, we'll hand over to Pasi and Santeri to take us through gamification.
Very good. Thanks for that. So today we're going to do things a little bit different. We're not going to show you many PowerPoint slides. In fact, we're not going to show you any PowerPoint slides. Instead, we're going to play a game. Since the topic is gamification, we thought, why not play a game? Would make sense, right? So you have two options how you can follow this webinar. You can simply watch us playing the game and listen to our conversation on the topics. Or if you happen to have a mobile phone next to you, you can scan this QR code and join the game. And this game will be also available after this webinar. So if you're watching this recorded, no problem. You can still play this game on your own device as well. But I'm going to now copy this PIN number that I'm going to need when I play on a computer. When you scan the QR code, you don't need any PIN. Just put your name and start playing. So I'm going to log in as a player and put the PIN over here. Click continue and choose a name. You could use your own name or you can invent a name you want. I'm going to put here Pasi and Santeri. We're going to play this game together as a team. Click continue. Now there's a code that I could use to return to the game at a later stage. But let's start the game.
And this is always the most difficult part, coming up with a name. So don't worry if you are struggling with coming something creative, just go with it.
That's it. So in this game, Pearson gamification webinar game. We have 7 exercises divided in 4 levels, and the maximum amount of points that we can get is 10,000. So let's play. Here's the game story. Future teaching methods. Pedagogy and teaching methods in ancient Egypt were primitive. Pharaoh Sinuheb noticed that students were not engaged nor motivated to learn, and he wanted to change this. So he decided to send a group of explorers to the future in a time machine lent to him by aliens to study future teaching methods. And you are one of the explorers. So let's help the Pharaoh. And here are the game rules. Click on the pink icons to open exercises. So once we go to the game board, you'll see some pink icons. Clicking on those, you can answer the exercises. Answer the questions to travel from ancient Egypt to modern UK, and from there to an unknown city sometimes in the future, and finally back to ancient Egypt. Good luck. Let's play. So we've arrived in ancient Egypt. Welcome, everyone. We're using these 360-degree game boards, just like we use in the Pearson Rise and Shine Seppo games. Here's the first pink icon to click open the first question, first exercise. Welcome to ancient Egypt. Your time travel adventure starts with a simple question. Are games and gamification the same thing? Well, that's the first question for you too, Santeri. What do you think? And people watching, you could put in the chat as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I really want to see what people all over the world think. Are games and gamification the same thing? Let's see who gives me the first answers. Okay, so I think Tuba was from Turkey and he's saying nope. So I'm going to go with the no. Games and gamification are not the same thing.
All right, I'm going to click there. And talking about games, Santeri, do you like playing games, and what kind of games, if you do?
Yeah, I do. I'm as mentioned earlier, I have been playing games throughout my whole life, and games when I was a kid, they used to be something for entertainment, but nowadays when I have a young child at home, I don't have so much free time. So that means when I get to have time with friends, it's usually done by playing games. So it's a way of communicating for us and having good time. How about you, Pasi?
Yes, I like playing games as well. I'm not what they traditionally think is a gamer. For example, I don't have any PlayStation or Xbox or any device like that at home, but I really love playing board games, card games. I love the Wordle game that is popular all over the world at the moment, a word game. And I think it's the same thing about most people, that there will be some kinds of games that you like. You might not like video games, but almost all humans like games, and especially children. Young learners that is our target group with the Rise and Shine series. They love playing games, all kinds of games. And again, not everybody is a gamer with digital games, but they certainly will love to play some sort of games.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Games have such a long history. If we think about the first board games, for example, the Go, which is like 4,000 years old. So I think that speaks on its own already, that games have been played throughout history.
Yeah, it's like a part of human condition to like games.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've already unlocked level 2 in this game. We started our time travel from ancient Egypt. We've now arrived in an office or a laboratory somewhere in the UK. Let's click on this pink icon to open the next exercise, which is about the difference between games and gamification. So, welcome to the Laboratory X in London, UK. Watch this short video to find out what's the main difference between games and gamification. So let's have a look.
Yes, come on! 5,000 points. I'm already in the 5th level. Yes! Games are so much fun, aren't they? But do you know what's the main difference between games and gamification? The objective of games is pure entertainment, having fun. Gamification uses many of the game elements, the mechanics of games, but the objective of gamification is to achieve a goal, some kind of objective in the real life. Maybe it's to learn new things or to change behavior. So games are for entertainment. Gamification is to achieve your goals in the real world. Often it's to do with education or training of some kind. I'm gonna continue this Seppo game. It's so much fun. Yes, come on, more points.
There you go. I got very happy getting those points. As you could see. Well, Santeri, the question is, what are the objectives of games, gamification, and edutainment? Let's see if you can crack this exercise. First,
Yeah.
games.
This should be easy. So let's see. Games is having fun is the objective. Well, not always. You don't have fun when you are losing, especially me. I'm a really sore loser, but usually the fun is the objective.
Exactly. That's why you start playing games. You want to have fun. Gamification.
That has to be achieving an objective in the real world.
Very good.
And then we have the last part there.
Exactly. So in games, you could learn things from games as well, but nobody starts to play a traditional game with the objective of learning something. But gamification, the whole starting point is that it's offered to people so that they learn something. They will have fun along the way, but the objective of gamification is different.
And the objective part here is the important, because it's interesting that always the games as well, what players are doing, they are actually learning all the time while they are playing. If you think about the 90s when you were playing Super Mario, when you drop to the hole between the grounds, you learned at that moment that you have to have more speed, or you have to have more preciseness in the jump. And same thing applies to all the games. You think about what children play, like Minecraft. It's all about learning at the same time. But that's the thing, that games don't have the learning as the objective comparing to the gamification.
Exactly. All right, so let's look for the second pin on this level. We find it in this office. It's about the game mechanics. So the scientists at the Laboratory X have done a lot of research, and they have proven that gamification methodology really works, and for people of all ages. We learned earlier that gamification uses game mechanics to engage and motivate people so that they achieve their objectives in the real world. But what are the game mechanics that engage and motivate people? So here we have a list of possible game mechanics. Some of them are correct, some of them are incorrect. If you need some help to answer this question, you could click on this link. It opens a new page where there will be information about the game mechanics. So gamification can really be used to learn things, to study things. It's not just to test existing information. But I think, Santeri, you don't need to read all that information. You can go ahead and answer.
It would be also like cheating if I would be reading it straight away there. But I'm also interested to hear what the chat thinks. So what do you think? If you already know a few of these gamification elements, what is your favorite, or what do you think is the most important? Type them in the chat, and we'll point them out when they come in the order. While we are waiting for the answers to drop into the chat, I'm going to start with badges and awards. As Donatella mentioned, she loves badges. So badges are like a qualitative way of giving feedback for the players. It doesn't require to have any competition or anything. You might get a badge that says, you did well in this exercise, or you were the fastest in this exercise, or something along those lines. And that's why badges they are also a visual element, which is really important when we are playing games. But then there's also the awards. So sometimes when students don't have the intrinsic motivation to study some topics, we need to give them extrinsic motivation things. And awards and prizes are one of those things. I heard from a teacher in Finland that they had a strict rule in the class that no one can wear a cap or a hat or anything over their heads while they are in the class, because it's a good manner thing to not wear it. But in the game, they had the prize for the winner was to get a golden ticket to use a cab during one of the lesson times in the future. And everybody were just playing 100%, putting effort into their answers, because everybody wanted to win that prize. And it wasn't anything that costed the teacher money or anything like a physical prize. It was just something to show that I have won, to be the king or the queen of the class for that one single moment. So awards can be really powerful.
Absolutely. And I think winning badges and awards work for all ages, but especially for the young learners. I remember my own child, when she was about 8 or 9 years old, she was playing some kind of a game on her mobile phone, and she was proudly showing me that, "Oh, Dad, look, I've got the 3 stars already." And my first reaction was that, so what? What does this mean that you have 3 stars? But I quickly realized that for her, it was really important. It was showing her that she's making progress, is getting stars when she's getting better. So for young learners and adults alike, badges can be very good motivational factor, and certainly used in gamification.
Yeah, and as you just mentioned there, the progress, I think now the natural part is to come to the next part, which is the levels. So
Okay.
levels is a really common feature in any game. It basically shows you how you have progressed throughout the game without needing to finish the game to get the sense of accomplishment. So you get it already. Maybe it's at the start 15 minutes when you progress from level 1 to level 2 and you feel the sense of achievement. And this is also used in marketing in everyday life. If you think about these customer loyalty programs where you have a different color card that you are swiping when you are buying groceries, you get some kind of points, or maybe it's an airline where you are buying tickets and you get these points at the same time. And this also motivates us to consume in that particular brand, because we are collecting the points to get the award. And we know that after the next flight, I will get this prize. Maybe it's a half price off from the ticket or something. And actually the prize is to consume more and use more money, but it gives us a goal to go towards, and then we are winning something. So levels can be really good way of visualizing how you are progressing all the time.
Absolutely.
Let me see what's there in the chat, if there's something we haven't mentioned yet. Okay, so Bruno is saying that the storytelling is an important part for creating a good immersion, and I couldn't agree more. Storytelling is one of the key concepts of when we are talking about good games. It gives us the feeling of that we are doing something else. And if you think about classroom for students, sometimes the motivation is to get through, to survive the class time. Maybe it's a 45 minutes and you're looking at the clock all the time, that how long do I still have? But when you have story, you might be all the time thinking, I want to know what's going to happen next. I want to see the next video. I want to see the next task, what's there and what's happening with the characters in the story. And this is something really, really good to keep motivated and engaged the players. Storytelling is also one of the oldest ways of sharing information in our world. So we were already cavemen and women around the bonfires telling stories, and this is also how we have our history.
That's right. And even in this gamified webinar today, we're using storytelling. We have the story of time traveling from ancient Egypt to future and then back. In the Rise and Shine Seppo games, we always also have stories. They are not fantasy based like this time travel. They are always based on some real life situations that would be familiar with the children of that age group. Later, we'll talk more about the Rise and Shine games. Any other elements or mechanics that you would like to point out from here?
Well, I think points and the leaderboards rankings are in the same boat. So we can, as I already mentioned earlier, badges can be this qualitative way of giving feedback. But then the points and leaderboards is the quantitative way of giving the feedback. So you know all the time how you are doing there. You can see how the other groups or other players are doing, and you can have this little competition during the play time. So sometimes for the games, competition can be a motivator and have a fun time compared to what it's normal in the class. What do you think, Pasi, about the competition?
Yes, I agree that competition can be motivational factor, and some students really want to win at any cost. But at the same time, it's important to remember that not everybody has the same characteristics. Some people like playing games simply to have fun with each other and not to compete. And for example, in the Rise and Shine games, we don't use leaderboards and rankings. These young learners, they are not competing against any other students. They are having fun, they're learning, they're playing by themselves. Could be in a group as well, but they are certainly not competing against anybody else. So there's no leaderboards or rankings, even though we use points and levels to show the progress of the students.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, we are now showing different mechanics of gamification, but you don't need to have all these mechanics in one game, because it's the same thing when you are cooking, when you are making a soup, or Donatella was from Italy, when you're making a pasta. You don't get a good pasta if you are just throwing all the spices from the cabin. You need to have the right ones. And if there's garlic, there has to be a lot of garlic. But the thing is, you don't need to have everything. And the thing is, for example, in the Rise and Shine, we have a really tremendously fun story there. So you don't need to have competition when you have really engaging story. So everything in moderation, and think about what's a good game to have the elements with it.
Very good.
There's one thing that's still missing, and that has been pointed out in the chat already, and it's the immediate feedback. And basically, almost all the games are based on immediate feedback. So when you are doing anything, whether it's correct or incorrect, you always get the notification, how did you do? There was the mention earlier about the Wordle. I don't know how many of you have played it. If you haven't, I strongly suggest to try Wordle. It's really fun, and it doesn't hook you too much because you can have only one game per day. So it's also healthy. In a Wordle, when you are typing the letters and the words, you immediately, when you have pushed the enter or the send button, you see how many letters you got right, if they are in correct order or not correct order, and then you start to build on that. You start to improve your tries. And this is same thing also with learning games. If you get a correct answer, you get feedback that keeps you, embraces you to continue in the same manner and motivates you. And this is really important for children and also for adults too, that we get praise for what we are doing right. But if we are doing something incorrectly, if there's something that we can improve on, then it's also important that we get the notification about that as fast as possible, because then we have, during that same game time, a possibility to improve and do better. And this is like a really good comparison with exams in school. When students are doing exam, it depends when do you get the answers. It might be that you are getting if it's a good situation, you get the answers then maybe the next day. But at some moments, it might be the next week or next month. I know that some universities have the time for 2 months. So what is the learning process in that? Because you don't get the immediate feedback. You get to know later on. And then it's just that you know how well you did on that day, but it doesn't teach you anything.
That's right. So making a mistake can be a learning moment as well, if you get the immediate feedback, and gamification offers a chance for that. So
Yeah.
This is your final answer. Can I send?
Yeah, let's lock it.
All right, let's send the answers. Yes, maximum points again. Well done. Good stuff.
Thank you, chat, for helping me out.
Yeah, good community teamwork, which is one of those future skills that students need to work on as well. And gamification provides plenty of opportunities for that.
Yeah, and that's one thing also that I always love to mention, that when we are playing games, in a perfect game, like a learning game, most of the thing that you are doing happens actually outside the screen. Maybe you have the device there where you have the exercises, but it actually motivates you to be in interaction with the real life surrounding. Maybe you have to do something. Maybe there's a exercise that makes you take pictures, like how would it look if you are fast, or what is the picture if you are faster, or what is the picture if you are fastest. And then the learning happens outside the device. Everything happens in the real life surrounding. So I think that's a big thing, that games are not just watching the screen, but it's cooperating with each other and interacting with the real life.
Good point. So let's have a look at who's here at Laboratory X. People at Laboratory X. You're doing well in the game. Keep going. After this task, you'll already travel to the future. But before you go, let's meet some people here at Laboratory X. This is Riku Alkio, an all-round good guy, father of 4 boys, and the founder, CEO of Seppo, a tool that is used to gamify Pearson's Rise and Shine books and this game that we're playing at the moment. But do you know what was Riku's profession before he founded Seppo? To find out, watch the short video below, and please note that the correct answer is worth 1,000 points, so it's really worth paying attention.
Hello, my name is Riku. I'm the CEO of company Seppo. But I used to be a teacher in a school like this in Finland. And you know, Finland has the best education system in the world. And now we are bringing a small piece of that to Brazil as well. We are really excited to work with you. Seppo is a really easy to use tool for teachers to create educational games. Everybody's playing games. So, and have you ever thought about using them at school? Now it's possible, and you can create your own game with Seppo. You can build a game to any physical environment. You can play inside the classroom, or in the schoolyard, or in the museum, you name it. It's really easy. You don't have to know any special technical things to create a game. You can use it at all school levels and in every subject. With Seppo you can teach biology, history, languages, mathematics, physics. I mean everything. You decide what you want to teach with the game.
Olá Brasil, un abrazo. Abraço. Take it. Olá Brasil, abraço. Olá Brasil. We are really excited to start working with you. Abraço. Abraço.
So, Santeri, did you pay attention before creating Seppo? What was Riku's profession? Was he a scientist, a football player, a teacher, or an IT manager?
Riku is such an energetic guy that I sometimes struggle to keep attention, but out of these 4 options, I definitely know that he's not an IT manager. At Seppo, sometimes I'm his IT personal help desk, so definitely not an IT manager. Riku has the vibe of a mad scientist, but he's not a scientist still, and he's decent at football, but I think he's better at watching it. So the only option there is left is Riku was a teacher.
All right, let's answer. I'm sure we have lots of teachers watching, so maybe the correct answer is that he was a colleague of yours. In addition to Riku, who was here at the Laboratory X, it's great to see you here too. So to register your visit, take a selfie and send it to us. So those of you who captured the QR code, you can participate by taking a picture, sending it to us. Would be nice to see who's here. Since I'm sharing the video, I'm not able to take a picture now, but I wanted to show this opportunity that, like Santeri already mentioned, with the Seppo games, including in the Rise and Shine series, the players can interact with the real world. An exercise could be, for example, look for something red in your home and take a picture. So they're using the language, they're interacting with the real world. It's not just a digital experience, click here, click there. Lots of different opportunities.
And it's really nice that with the Rise and Shine, you don't need to create the games. They are all pre-made for you by professionals and on the field, on the subject, but also I guess in gamification. So it's easy for you to just go in and get the kids playing it. So it can't get any more easier.
That's a great point. In the video, Riku talked a lot about the teachers creating their own games. And yes, Seppo is used a lot in that way. But in the Rise and Shine series, just like you mentioned, There are many ready-made games that teachers can simply distribute for the players to enjoy, the students to enjoy. So let's send the answer. Let's see how we did on this one. Yes, you knew that Riku was a teacher. You paid attention. Maximum points again. And look what happened. We are in the future now. Well done.
It
Change
seems that getting
environment.
points gets you also new levels and new areas.
Absolutely. So let's have a look at the first exercise here in the future. It's about the benefits of gamification. So welcome to the future. Here you will learn about the benefits of gamification and about the Pearson Rise and Shine series. First, here's a short list of what you can gamify. You can gamify individual classes of any subject and age. I mean, I've seen gamification used in physical education, music, mathematics, obviously English and other languages, history, you name it. Any subject can be gamified. You can gamify entire courses. I've seen games that last months, maybe an entire semester or even a year. It could be anything between 15 minutes to really, really long time. Assessments and exams can also be gamified. And Santeri, what do you think? Is it the same thing or is there something different if a teacher tells the group that tomorrow we're going to have an exam, or if the teacher tells the group tomorrow we're going to play a game?
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a big difference. I mean, when you hear that there's going to be an exam or test, it immediately raises your stress levels and you get the anxious feeling of doing something, maybe what you don't want to do. But when you hear that there's going to be a game, it doesn't raise anxiousness. It's fun. Games are interesting, and the thing is, in exam, if you fail, it's a bad thing. You get a worse grade. But in games, if you fail, that's only the better opportunity to learn more.
That's right. And you can have exactly the same questions, exactly the same exercises in a game format as you would have in a traditional exam. So it's a really great way to make assessment easier and more fun for the students. You can gamify events either online or in person. I know many schools, for example, they have gamified some celebratory days like Mother's Day, Father's Day, or some annual event on their national calendar, science fair or something like that. So when families come and visit the school, the whole day is gamified and gives motivation to visit different classes, different rooms, interact more with the teachers and the students. It really makes the experience so much more productive, fun, and engaging. You can gamify school.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, please, Santeri.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I just asked in the chat if people have used gamification before, and even though here today we are talking about a digital platform and a tool that you can have games with your mobile phones and computers, but gamification in itself doesn't require any digital tool. You can do really easily gamification in your everyday class time. So for example, for young students, a lot of teachers have gamified having better behavior in the class. There's a teacher who had a big glass jar, and every time students answered correctly during the class time, the teacher put a white pebble to the jar. And the teacher told that when the jar is full, they will have some kind of surprise. And the students just went nuts for it. Like they really wanted to try answer correctly. They were helping each other to answer better. And this is just a really easy solution that you can gamify easily anything in your class time. So it's just a matter of if you want to do it and just going for it, because it can't get any easier. It's when you are getting this target for students to do something, to get some kind of surprise, it's so much fun.
Yeah, and I like the fact that you mentioned that the students started to help each other. So collaboration, teamwork, and these kind of future skills can really be taught through games. And the students, they don't even notice that they are studying. It's just automatic. What else you can gamify? You can gamify school trips to museums, the zoo. You can gamify homework the same way as exams and assessments. Obviously, school books, as we're doing with the Rise and Shine series. Students can gamify their own projects, and the best way to learn is to teach. So that's another fun and very productive way of using gamification, making the students to create some game. But why would you gamify? What are the benefits of gamification? So here we have our top 10 list of benefits of gamification, starting with number 1, motivation, and number 2, engagement. There are some studies that show that engagement and motivation increased by more than, was it 75% or even 80%, really high percentage, so it really works. You can personalize the learning experience with gamification. So for example, depending on what your student answers, they'll go to different directions. So if you answer correctly, you can move faster. If you made a mistake, give an incorrect answer, you go somewhere else where you can revise the topic and create your own path. 5, gamification can increase autonomy and creativity. So the students are making their own decisions. They are not simply listening passively to what the teacher has to say. Increases creativity. They can answer in different ways, sending photos, recording videos, these kind of things. Again, skills that they will need later on in life. Having fun is a benefit of gamification. It's not the objective of gamification, as we discussed, but any gamified activity should be fun. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Teamwork, we talked about that. Healthy competition, again, something that can work as a motivational factor, but it's not necessary to use in gamification. Use of technology. I mean, the young learners of today, they are all the time on their mobile phones, on computers, on their iPads or whatever. So that's a familiar environment for them. Why not bring that also to teaching, the school environment? And gamification works well with technology. You mentioned before that it's not always necessary. Gamification can be done completely without any digital device, but it's one of the benefits of using digital devices in a productive way, not just for entertainment, but to learn that, okay, this device that I've been using for all my life for fun and games, it can actually be used for something productive, in this case, learning, studying and learning. Very good. So let's have a look at this short video where I tell what are my top 2 benefits of gamification. It's about 1 minute long video, and then you can answer the question.
Using gamification brings many benefits for education and corporate training. Here are my top 10 tips of the benefits of gamification. Increased motivation, increased engagement, personalizing the learning experience, using any place as the place of study, not just the classroom or the office, increased autonomy and creativity, having fun while learning, increasing collaboration between students or employees, healthy competition, using technology, mixing different subject matters into one activity, and finally, the last one, improving results, be it education or corporate training. There are studies that show that the engagement and motivation improve results. There are other studies that show that gamification increases motivation and engagement. 1 + 1 is 2. Gamification improves results. But what about you? What do you think are the main benefits of gamification? What's most important for you? I'd like to hear.
So people could answer in the chat as well. What do you think? What's the most important thing for you about gamification? And Santeri, before I ask you to answer this question, I would like to point out that here we have a list of benefits of gamification in a text form. And then immediately after, I basically talked about the same thing in a video format. So there's a repetition, and this was deliberate because all the English teachers that are watching this know for sure that repetition is very important part of language learning. It's simply not enough to tell a new word, for example, once, and that you would remember it for the rest of your life. We need repetition. But what's the challenge, especially for the young learners, is that repetition can be very boring. So you need to present the same material in many different ways to keep it interesting, to make sure that the students continue to be engaged and want to continue. So one of the things that I really love about the Rise and Shine series is that they have super varied materials. They have the student book, activity book, Busy Bee book, the Seppo games. So you can recycle material, you can repeat things without it being boring. It's all the time different, new, exciting, and without noticing, the students are learning new things. So the question is, according to Pasi, according to me, what are the two most important benefits of gamification? Santeri, did you pay attention?
Well, I have to admit, I probably didn't pay as much attention as I should have, but we have been working I have been working with Pasi with you for so long time that I know that we are on the same level. We think that engagement and motivation are definitely the thing.
Very good. But this is an opinion. Somebody else might think, for example, that learning about teamwork, having fun, any of these elements are important. But yeah, I've mentioned in the video that for me, engagement and motivation are the most important things. But we would like to hear from you guys as well who are watching this webinar, either now or in the recorded version. What do you think? What are the most important benefits of gamification? Write or record a short video as you answer. So we already had one exercise in the previous level where you could answer with the photo. And now we have an exercise where you can answer with the video. This is also something that we use a lot in the Rise and Shine 360 Seppo games, giving the young learners a chance to use their English, put it in practice. So there could be an exercise, for example, record a video talking about your favorite holiday. Where did it go? What did you do? What was the weather like? What food did you have there? This is obviously at the higher levels that they can already talk this much, but even with the earlier levels, they can record short videos talking about a certain subject that is appropriate for them. So again, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it's also really important we have these different ways of answering, because we also have a lot of different learners, and not everybody is as strong with a written word and what they are, for example, with taking videos or photos. If we especially think about the young people, think about what are the most common social media platforms. They are Instagram, they are TikTok. Usually there was, I don't know how common Snapchat is anymore, but they are all based on the same thing, that you are taking pictures, you are taking short videos, and that's what the youth are also producing in a really big masses. So it's also one way to give the opportunity for the student to show what you know. And if it's only in a written form, some students will never get the chance to show how good they are. But when we give these opportunities, it's also more equal for different kind of learners.
Absolutely. I'm going to send the answer. Let's see how you did. Maximum points again. Well done, Santeri.
Nice.
And I think we have one more exercise on this level here in the future. Let's have a look. It's here, and it's about the Pearson Rise and Shine series. So this is your final task before traveling back in time to ancient Egypt. Pearson has been leading in the innovation of language learning games and gamification for years. Together with the Finnish company Seppo, Pearson has a number of projects, including creating games for the primary academy platform. Here's a link for those who are playing on their own device. You could find out more information. But I think many of the teachers with us today already know that there's an excellent bank of extra materials, including these games, but many other things as well that you could use, give to your students to study at home. And of course, we are now gamifying the Rise and Shine book series. And for those of you who don't know the series so well yet, let's have a look at a quick 2-minute introduction to the Rise and Shine series.
Why Rise and Shine is a new English course for kids like us, curious explorers, ready to discover the world around us.
Our learning journey is signposted by 5 unique stepping stones that support us throughout our adventure. All packed with exciting stories, fun games, and friendly characters.
Together, we start our journey with wonder. Here, we spark our imagination with fun activities and games. Meet Bruno, one of our helpers who supports us along the way.
The next step is Imagine. This is where we explore a world of stories that encourages us to think creatively and critically about the world around us.
Then we jump into Build. Here we improve our communication skills and learn to solve problems working together. With interactive games and songs, learning is so easy.
Our development never stops. We learn about communities and cultures with real-world stories and videos with Grow. This helps our understanding of the wider world and social responsibility. It's amazing what we discover.
The last stepping stone is Shine, which is one of our favourites. We get to share what we have learnt with our classroom friends, which can be scary sometimes.
But we all support and encourage each other, which is fun. Rise and Shine empowers every child to reach their potential and shine. Find out more at pearsonenglish.com/riseandshine.
Great. So like Gillian mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, I have over 10 years experience as an English teacher. So I've seen many different books, many book series. And I have to say, I absolutely love the Rise and Shine series. It's so diverse in terms of topics, in terms of the characters, people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different ages. There are a lot of supporting materials like Seppo games, the videos, the audios, the animations that they produce. It's so high quality. I really, really love the series. And below are some example exercises from the Rise and Shine Seppo games. First exercise or example comes from level 2, a game called Red Pen. And here we have one of the characters that also appear in the books. So it's familiar with the students. At level 2, children, the students, they still don't have much vocabulary, so we can't have very complex stories, but there's always some kind of a storyline anyway. Like this is a snapshot of that story. This is Clara. Look at her things. And let's see how is Santeri's English. What would you say? What's this blue object on the left side?
I think it's a cap.
All right. What about this red object?
It's got to be glasses.
Okay. And this yellow?
Do you allow me to put it to the belt?
I wouldn't recommend.
Let's go with the scarf.
Okay, and then this brown thing at the bottom
is the belt.
Exactly.
And you can see how players can be autonomous, that when they are trying to do mistakes, the teacher is immediately giving immediate feedback.
Yes. And like I said, this is from level 2 game Red Pen. And actually left this open on another browser, the same game. So I wanted to show you what does it actually look like the game. Again, we use 360-degree images, but this time it's from a context that would be familiar with the students' school setting on the first level. If you click on the exercises, there are images that are familiar from the book, using same characters and environments. And this one, we have an audio listening exercise. If we move ahead in the game, there would be another vocabulary exercise, this time about what's in the backpack, and then some school objects, things like this. And once you have done enough exercise on the first level, you would move on in the story and arrive home in this kind of environment where there would be obviously more exercises with videos, photos, audios, practicing the English that they've already come across in the book. Right. So let's have a look at another type of exercise from a little bit higher level, level 5, a game called the Travel Diary. So at this point, the students already have quite a bit of vocabulary, so we can create a storyline that is a bit more complex. This is, of course, out of context because we don't have the whole game, but just to give you an idea. Finally, they reach the center of the town. There's a parade and a band is playing. Sam, one of the characters from level 5, says, why are they having a parade? Alex, another character from the same series, answers, it's an international festival celebrating the beginning of spring. It's a small town, but in the parade, you can see people representing many different countries. After the storyline that is only in the game, we then have an opportunity to have a watch a video that is related to the same theme.
Rise and shine, let's learn and play.
Spring is a special time of year. There's new life and many celebrations around the world. Let's explore.
This festival is in England. It's called May Day. A band plays music and people dance to celebrate the start of spring.
Wow! That looks fun.
This festival is in Japan. It's called the Cherry Blossom Festival. Cherry blossoms are beautiful flowers. They only grow in spring. So people have picnics and parties under the cherry blossom trees to celebrate new life.
That's beautiful.
In China, there's a big spring celebration every year. It's called Spring Festival, or Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year celebrates the end of...
Well, I think you got an idea of the high quality of the videos. There's also a lot of animations that are super cool, really well made. Santeri, which countries' spring celebrations does the video talk about?
We have done this webinar already 2 times before, and every time you never showed me the video before, so you rigged the game against me. So this time I actually know the answer.
Okay.
The countries are England and Japan.
Okay. Very good. Then let's have one more example exercise from level 6. In the earlier levels, all the characters in the book and the game are animated characters like this Clara here. But once these students grow older, we move into this type of photos of real life characters. So very age appropriate each level. If we would have a listening exercise, I don't think we need to play that. Now you're going to have to guess again, Santeri. What do you think?
Oh, you are again rigging the game against me.
Yes.
I think I tried earlier the electricity, but it didn't work. So it collects rainwater.
Okay, let's have a look. Send the answer. Almost maximum point. You forgot that also China appeared in the video, the celebrations.
So but now I learned that I will pay more attention in the next video.
That's right. Very good. And look what happened. We've arrived back in ancient Egypt. Well done, Santeri. Well done, everyone who's been taking part in this webinar. And we have one more task at this level. It's called the end or the beginning. So well done. You made it back to ancient Egypt. What an adventure it was. Please tell Pharaoh Sinuheb all that you learned about gamification. And tell us what you thought about this gamified webinar. Did you like this format and the content, or would you prefer a different style like PowerPoint presentation? It's an opinion, We like games and we think this works, but we'd love to hear what did you think about this type of a webinar. Those of you who are playing on your own device, you can leave your contact details if you want to find out more information either about the Rise and Shine series or the Seppo game. And also note that this game will continue to be available after this webinar. So if you're watching this recorded, you can capture the QR code and play on your mobile phone, or you can go to any browser on your computer as well and go to play.seppo.io and put this pin code EE7GG1 to play this game, share it with your colleagues. Would be good to hear from you afterwards as well. So I'm not going to leave contact details. I'm just going to fill something in those blanks. Click send. And we have now, congratulations, exercise is completed. So well done. That brings us to the end of this part of the webinar. But if there are any questions in the chat, Santeri and I will be very happy to answer about gamification, about the Rise and Shine series.
Thank you, Santeri and Pasi. That was absolutely amazing. And you've got some absolutely wonderful feedback in the chat. You really have gamified us all, and everyone is convinced. New beginning for us all. So that's fantastic. And people are asking how can they find out more about the Rise and Shine series and the Seppo games on Rise and Shine. Well, if you take your phone now, for those of you at home, and you scan your screen on the QR code, you'll be taken to one of the games. And these are 360 games. They're sort of full immersion. Is that right, Pasi?
Yes, I think we like this format because it's not virtual reality, but it's getting close. Children can really explore different environments, get their heads into outside the classroom. They're no longer just listening to the teachers. So that's one of the reasons why we use 360 images.
And we've also got some lovely games on the Pearson Primary Academy. Again, I'll just leave that up there for a bit for everybody to scan that QR code. And there are learn at home games for younger learners, ages 6 to 12 for young learners, 10 different games at different levels, and they focus on exams, vocabulary, listening and speaking. And you can see an example here, Ling arriving in London, or exploring different cities. You've got London, actually it's Paris, isn't it? It's being alive in Paris. I saw the London Eye, and it just shows how with games you can be curious and start looking more closely. So it's he arrives in Paris. Fantastic.
That's right, and go ahead, yeah, I was going to say that in the primary academy games we don't use the 360-degree images, but we do use storytelling. Gillian's team and Helen Doran came up with fantastic fun missions or mysteries that the children have to resolve during the game that keeps them engaged. They want to know what happens at the end. And while they're playing, they're learning things without even noticing. They're having fun and learning at the same time.
Yeah, they're really lovely. There's a really cute one about a lost kitten, which is one of my favorites in the Primary Academy for the little ones.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you've got a lovely from Hagop there, wonderful webinar, very refreshing. It's just different. So lots of wonderful ideas as well today that we can take home.
Yeah, I think we all had a few light bulb moments during the webinar. I certainly, realized that when I was a teacher, I was using gamification sometimes without even realizing it was gamification. So
I love the jar and the pebble. I'll definitely
Yeah,
try
it's
that out, the jar
fantastic,
with the
isn't it?
pebbles. That's lovely. And Berfu says that the Rise and Shine series looks very engaging and entertaining. And it's amazing for the fact that the children will be able to practice speaking English at home as well. And in fact, it's you really emphasised that, didn't you? They can take the games and use them everywhere. And Berfu says they can't wait to start using it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love the Rise and Shine series. It's so diverse in terms of content, in terms of characters. It's very modern, the themes that they cover. Obviously, the focus is teaching English, but those who study these books, they will also learn a lot of the future skills about collaboration, communication, throughout the series, but especially with the Seppo games that are incorporated with the series.
And the thing is also when teachers' lives are getting all the time busier and busier with bigger classes or more paperwork, there's less time to come up with creative solutions. Gillian mentioned that she was using, when she was teaching, already some gamified elements, and we probably always don't notice it. But now we are having this opportunity to get ready-made games to use in teaching. So we don't have to do anything. We just have to give them to kids, and there's always the risk that they will be asking for more, but I think we can take it.
But you know what? I think that they can play them again. I think they can play them more than once, because they've got the creative ones, they've got the photos, they can do different things. So
definitely.
Yeah.
And as you said in the webinar, your repetition is important. So that's fantastic. Well, it's 8 o'clock here in Italy. What time is it in Finland, Santeri?
It's 9 o'clock here.
And in Brazil, Pasi?
3 in the afternoon, so I still have.
Wow, and Gillian in London?
7 o'clock here in the UK.
And Christoph says it's 8 p.m. in Poland. So, well, it's this is just wonderful as well, isn't it? Through your gamification, we've travelled the world, and 9 p.m. in Turkey. There you go. So, well, have a lovely day, evening, and afternoon, everyone. And thank you so much, Santeri and Pasi, and congratulations, Gillian, as well, for everything you've achieved with Rise and Shine. Thank you all for joining us, and we hope to see you all soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Let's learn and play.
Yes. Bye.
Goodbye.